Welcome to Black Powder by Warlord Games. Black Powder is the game that covers the warfare of the horse and musket period. Black Powder allows you to recreate great and famous battles from the 18th and 19th centuries, with armies of model soldiers on the tabletop. Conflicts such as the Napoleonic Wars, the American War of Independence, the Anglo-Zulu War and more are covered within our rulebook, and supported by an extensive range of wonderful 28mm miniatures for infantry, cavalry and artillery.
Colourful uniforms, colourful characters, amazing battles, just when men were men. Obviously, like any true-blooded Englishman, I was brought up with my father with tales of daring do of the amazing Horatio Nelson and the Duke of Wellington, the great Duke himself, and the pivotal battles of Trafalgar and ultimately Waterloo, which was the downfall of the Corsican ogre Napoleon. There you go, I've shown my colours there. And yes, so my father brought me up with these various tales, and we went on a family trip to Waterloo to have a look around the museums, and that was it. I was hooked. Since then I've become very well read on the French army and the British armies and the Napoleonic Wars. Waterloo is still my most studied battle. Apart from Gettysburg, is perhaps the most studied battle in the world, I would suggest. And there's more and more books still coming out on Waterloo and the Napoleonic period and the armies involved, and I eagerly hoover them up as they come out and try and glean some more information that I didn't know before about something obscure. More and more letters are being found actually and translated from the French or Prussian or German, and which all adds to the mystique of the Napoleonic Wars. Well, a lot of people get put off by the idea of doing Napoleonics because they think there's so many models need painting. Well, they do. They don't paint themselves, sadly, not yet. And but the thing to do is paint regularly, little and often. I normally put in about an hour and 10 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes an evening, just when I'm relaxing at home after lunch. Okay, a lot of people have got other things to do, but if you can get yourself an hour or so, spare a day, it doesn't take long to get through a regiment. By a regiment, I mean 24 men, 24 infantry, or 12 cavalry. The thing to do is be disciplined, do them and do what we call batch painting. Undercoat them. Ideally, you can use a coloured spray, which might give you all the great coats already in a brown or a grey, so that's a great way of cheating. You've got most of the models painted already. And then just make sure you go down the line painting all the boots, painting 24 boots, well actually 48 isn't it, 24 hats, 24 faces, muskets, packs. It really doesn't take long, but the thing to do is paint quickly and don't worry about being too neat. If you go splash over the edges, it really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, the last thing you do is just go through and touch up the model afterwards. So you correct where the collar's gone wrong, correct where the crossbelt has slightly been splashed with blue. It really doesn't matter. You'll get the neat result at the end by tidying up, and then a nice job of basing, some nice flock bases, and that hides a myriad of problems. So crack on and do it. 24 models, you can probably do that in 4 evenings, 5 evenings maybe, if you just use the spray technique to get the main great coat done. Here's the Black Powder book, and in there it will tell you how to start organising your armies. But if I could give you some suggestions, Warlord Games does some fantastic starter armies for the French and the British, which gives you a few battalions of infantry, an artillery battery, and or a squadron of cavalry. You can start playing Black Powder really easily with perhaps 4 units, say 2 units of infantry, a cavalry regiment, and a battery of artillery. If you've got that, you can start playing Black Powder against somebody else. So that's 4 things, if you like, 4 things to move about. And that really shouldn't be a problem for anybody to get together. And it's cheap to build up because almost all of it's available in plastic. and before long you'll find yourself building up another brigade here and there. Or if you've got a series of mates, even better, if there's 4 or 5 of you, just all decide to do a different brigade, and so somebody can collect all the Imperial Guard, somebody could collect light infantry, and somebody else could do another army. So it's getting together and putting as many models as you can onto the table. But you can really start with just 4 units, I would suggest.
Furthermore, we have a growing range of miniatures and book supplements focusing on famous periods, campaigns and battles that add more detail to your games. Black Powder at first might look daunting, with vast armies clashing over the tabletop. The amount of miniatures, painting and game time are all relative to you and can be as big or small as you wish.
Yeah, people again ask, Black Powder, do I have enough time to play a game? Well, at my house, which I'll show you in a minute, we play sometimes very huge games on a Thursday night. We get the lads round, we get some cans of lager, and we make a pile of sausage sandwiches, most important, and we probably have 5 guys aside, so that's 10 players, with it could be up to 30 units aside, on each side, easily 30 units. We start at 7 o'clock, bicker a lot and talk, and it's all finished by 10 past 9, and those are huge battles. So a small battle of Black Powder will commonly last an hour, and a big battle 2 hours. It works so quickly. That's one of the gems of Black Powder. It's a gentlemanly way of playing your game.
At the end of the day, Black Powder is a flexible system that can work around a busy schedule and provide a lot of satisfaction for the historical hobbyist and the tabletop gamer.
The spirit of Black Powder. I think Rick Priestley, the great wise one, wrote some notes on that. He says, "So heft your muskets and prepare for battle. The library or billiard room will serve as our battlefield, or else some similarly spacious and secluded refuge. Ensure that children are safely put to bed and lie safely beyond earshot. Secure the doors against intrusion of womenfolk, as yet unfamiliar with the conventions of war. Ready your armies for the long march to glory. And finally, let us remember that the ideal accompaniment to the journey may be found in good brandy, fine cigars, and the companionship of like-minded enthusiasts." Wise words. So when I set up Warlord Games, we started actually with doing Romans, and we were looking for an Ancients game. And then just before that though, my good friend Rick Priestley had been developing with Jervis Johnson and the Perry twins this book called Black Powder, and the style of gaming that we all favoured. And Rick very kindly offered me this game for the princely sum of £1 and a curry. And I've duly bought him many curries, but I haven't given him the pound yet. But Rick gave us Black Powder, and that was 12 years ago, nearly 13 now, and it's in its 2nd edition and still selling splendidly well. Some people have got old model collections and are thinking of taking up Black Powder, and they worry about basing styles and what frontages things are. Well, that's the least important thing to worry about with Black Powder. As long as both sides are equally vaguely based, it really doesn't matter. It's one unit against another unit. One of the joys of Black Powder is that it gives variable bounds. It means you can move up to 3 times in big envelopments and sweeping advances, which makes it a terribly exciting way of wargaming. You don't actually take model soldiers off. You don't actually have to remove models when they're killed. It's just each unit has a number of wounds, if you like, and once it takes an appropriate amount of wounds, it's destroyed and is removed from the battlefield. Again, the other joy of Black Powder is it's not limited to any one scale. People often have 15 or 12mm armies, and that's lovely too. We play all ours in 28mm, but that's because it's Warlord Games, that's what we make. If you want to play Black Powder with 15mm, that works fantastically well too. All you need to do is halve all movements and half all firing ranges.
For more information, please visit www.warlordgames.com.